All right, good evening, everybody. It's Mike with Alpha Shark. It is the last day of February, the 28th. How's everybody doing tonight? Thanks for joining me. So, James, great. So, sometimes I come on here and I teach, and sometimes every once in a while, I'm on to do what I call a fireside chat. You know where I get this from. It's a chance for you guys to talk to somebody who does this full time, who does this every day, who does this for a living, ask questions, and try to just get a feel for what I'm seeing and what's going on. And I hope you guys enjoy this format because it really can go wherever you want it to go. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. I'm going to share some thoughts I have, what's going on here in the markets with you guys. But overall, you guys can guide this and ask questions, and I'll try to answer them, and we'll see what we come up with. Hope you guys like that. So I started this off with a little poll, and the poll was very simple. Where do you guys think the markets are going? And 40% of you said up, 10% said down, and 50% said sideways. So what's interesting to me here, guys, is nobody had a clear answer, and that kind of is where we are here with the markets. And that's kind of where I brought that up, because the market's about as clear as mud right now, right? And when the market gets like this, it gets tough, doesn't it? Right? How many of you guys are feeling a little bit stressed out, chopped up, like, this is just not easy here? Yep. Yep, tough for a couple of weeks, very hard, right? And we're in this very, very monotonous pattern where we get a very busy first 40 minutes and then everything goes dead until the last 40 minutes of the day, right? The middle of the day has been death. And the volume shows it. The market just goes to sleep. And, the algos take control, and the algos are vicious, right? The computers are out to do what? What do they do when they can't make money doing what they want to do? How do they make money in this market? You take yours, you got it. They come after you. They go stop hunting. They try to get everybody to chase and then stop you out. And a market like this requires either discipline or time. Now, I've had a very nice week. I finished the day down $30. I made some bad trades today. I made two bad trades. I was able to dig myself almost completely out of it. Not quite. It happens, right? We all have those days, right? We all know we're going to have losing trades, and every so often we're going to have a losing day or two, correct? You guys all know this, right? You guys accept this as something we all do together. So when you look here and the market's been like this, it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to sit down and say, I don't know what to do. So here we are in the SPY, and very, very, very tight ranges. Have you guys noticed how tight the candles are lately? Did you guys notice how narrow today's candle was today? I know those of you guys are with me. You guys know it because we were talking about it. But put this in perspective. We traded from 278.40 to basically 279.40. And those were pretty much just touches. We traded in a dollar range all day long. That's incredibly tight, right? That's not a lot of room, is there? There's just not a lot of room in something like that. Okay. So, why are the markets like this? Anybody have an idea? What's going on? Throw some ideas out. Uncertainty is a good one. What else? Lack of volume. Correct. Yeah, geopolitical, taking a breather. Yep. We have run a long way, haven't we? 200 moving average, yep. We're above the 200 moving average, though, right? We broke above that 2 weeks ago. Nah, Cohen. Okay, all good answers. There's no wrong answer here, guys. And I'm not. I'm here to talk to you as one. Like we're all together, right? I'm not here. 280 is an important spot in this market. Do you know that, right? You guys all know it. And if you don't know this, you've been listening to my webinars for a year. 280s plus has been an important spot, right? How many times have I talked about 280, people who know me? Forget 289, Sean. It's 280. 280. I'm going to show you why. Oops, my mistake. Sorry. Why 280? First of all, let's go to a 2-year chart. Okay? And I'll magnify it in for you. 280, when we broke down, see if I can grab the highlighter here for you guys. Hang tight with me. Perfect. We broke down here, right? First test, we failed. You guys see this here? Can I change the color of this? Sure I can. It's just not saying where. All right, we'll leave it as is. Right? Failed the test. Came through, couldn't get through, couldn't get through, couldn't get through. Got above it, retested, became support. Tested support. Failed. Resistance, 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 resistance. Can you guys see this? All right, Sean, you see what I'm saying about 280? All right, JD, you see it? Now let's put this on a, I wish there was a hot button I can get rid of this. I don't want it on, stop. Normal, okay. And one of my subscribers asked me to look at a monthly chart today, and it came out right. On a monthly, it's like, what do you think of the monthly chart? I think the monthly chart looks fine, but it's at resistance. Look at all of the pivot points at 280 on the monthly chart. Can you see that too? So do you think there's any surprise here that we are stuck at 280 right now? Okay. Again, we're looking at this together. So 280 is major resistance in this market after a huge run for 2 months from the lows here, right? Off the lows. Okay. So what have we done? Okay. Perfect question. What have we done? We've run up into it. We've tested it. Failed on the first attempt. Have we broken down here? No. Have we broken any levels in this market yet? Consolidating, right? Definitely, Sean, right? We're consolidating. We haven't broken the 8-day. The trend is your friend. You guys hear traders say that all the time. Well, there's some truth in that. Since January 4th, we have not had a close in this market under the 8-day. Look at the blue line. Can you guys see this nice and clear? All right? So it's here. Follow the blue line. We've tested it intraday multiple times and held it. When you look at this chart, this little pullback into the 8-day, does it look any scarier than the one the week before? Or this one? Or this one? Or this one? Okay. So, when I look at this markets, and this is Mike's point of view, okay, I can't get bearish on this market yet. That doesn't mean I'm a full-on raging bull, right? It just means I can't get out and short. So when I put that poll up there, the point of this was Everybody's trying to get their opinions. And I look on Twitter or FinTwit or whatever you guys want to call it and see people saying, I'm shorting the hell out of this market. Okay, you go ahead and you did that. Have fun with that. I am still making most of my money in this market long. I am still finding long trades on a daily basis and things to do. I still feel a bullish tint to this market. Now, that doesn't mean we can't break down a little bit. And I will tell you guys this. The best reaction here, the best thing would be what? What's the best way to get through resistance? What happens when you're on a chart and you can't break through resistance? What happens eventually? Talked about this with my subscribers tonight. So, what eventually happens? Right? You're banging against it. You can't get through. It's a wall. All right. Tony says test 21 day. Not a bad idea. You wear out the buyers eventually, right, Tony? Right, guys? The buyers eventually get worn out. They get done. And you get a dip, right? And when you get a dip, what happens when the market starts to dip? What happens? They're not profit taking. You get in a dip. Profit taking is something a little bit different, right? Well, you can see it. Every day when the market pulls, what's the first thing that happens in the market? Every day, even today, first thing that happens. Nope, no. You guys are thinking a little off here. When the market takes a dip, what do they do? If you guys are paying attention, if you guys are trading full time, one sec. They come screaming for puts. Puts, more puts, right? Look at it. I'm calling the flow to my subscribers, right? They come screaming for puts, right? Because they all chase down, right? They chase the puts. They come puts, get protection. This is it. It's going to go, right? Makes sense? You guys with me on that? So when the market starts to come down, you start getting shorts in it. And the more it comes down, the more shorts you get into the market, right? And what happens when you have a market like this, and we're doing this, is eventually you get price discovery, right? And where's a good spot right now to find out if this market really wants to be held? All right, Don, you're absolutely right. There's no predicting what this market's going to do right now. So if you're in this market right now, there's two places you really have an interest right now. There's two places you want to see what happens. Right? Well, right now we're on the 8 EMA right here on the blue line, okay? That's that little blue line. Okay? You got it, Cheaton, right? Here's your 21-day and your 200-day right here. That's spot one. A pull to there, and if they come screaming for the market, you're going to have a bunch of bears getting in and people going long, and what happens off of there? You shoot back up, and as you're shooting back up, what starts to happen? You have buyers coming in, and what else do you get? You get short covering, right? Short covering, right? What happens when the shorts want to cover? What do they have to do? How do you get out of a short position, right? Some people you guys may not know, right? You have to buy it back. So buying it back creates more upwards momentum. That means instead when you get to this area, now you have shorts covering, you have buyers coming in, and it gives you the ability to possibly break through. If this spot doesn't hold, where's your next spot? I'm going to say 270. That's been another big area in the market. But the 100-day is not far below there, so close enough. Tony, make sense? And I'm not talking intraday, I'm talking a close, right? We know this market loves to play with everybody's emotions, right? You know they love to go below something and yank it back up, right? That's the game, right? You guys know that. That's what they do. That's what they're always trying to do. Games. All right. So, are you guys with me so far? Okay. So I want you guys to think about the last week or so. What's happened in the last week that could have sold the markets off? War? With who, Suresh? Okay, I'm not following war, but let me go there. North Korea, Trump, great one, right? We had a breakdown of the summit where everybody thought we were going to get some peace accord. That broke down. Market yawned. Uh, yeah. Although I'm not hearing a lot of really big things about India and Pakistan, but I understand that's a scary thought, and I agree. Two nuclear powers that have a skirmish, that's scary. Cohen, another good one. I can't not respond to that one, but I'm going to laugh. Cohen and Powell, and I'll leave the third one out. um, China trade, right? Another great one. China, we didn't get agreement yet. Still ongoing. Good one. How about Brexit? No solution there, right? Yep. So, has the market dumped on any of this? How many Fed governors have spoken this week? It's like they won't shut the hell up, right? It's like everyone needs to get out there and talk as much as they possibly can. We had Lighthouser talking, we have Mnuchin talking, we have Kudlow talking, right? Have we had enough people talk this week to drive the markets down and say things to break the markets? They all contradict, they never shut up, they all speak their mind. Bottom line is, guys, how many times in the last week to 10 days could this market have sold off on what was going on and didn't? Yeah, enough. So this is why I can't get bearish on the markets. Does that make sense? The market's been given every chance to sell off and it just won't sell. Now, they don't want to buy it yet, but they won't sell it. There's a ton of money on the sidelines. And that is a great statement. There's a tremendous amount of money sitting on the sidelines right now. Okay. So what we do here is we try to do is look at the market and think, all right, we knew 280 was not going to be easy, right? On Monday morning, if you trade on your own or you listen to somebody like me and you're part of my people, you know, um, whatever you're doing, when you see that first test of big resistance, you have to have you either have to have that voice in your head saying, be careful, don't chase, or somebody telling you what? Be careful, don't chase, right? You have to look at that candle and say, on that gap up, I'm suspect. Does that make sense? Okay. So you have to look at it that way, and find somebody you trust. Doesn't have to be me, guys. Find some if you don't have that inner voice, find somebody that you like and talks like that and will tell you that. But you have to be suspicious when you have that first test of a big area. Okay, that's your first thing. You got to say, I got to be careful here. So here we are going sideways, very tight range, very choppy. Volatility is going to have the market. You're looking for another reason, guys. You're looking for some other things. Let's look at some other things. So let's take this down. Let's go down from the SPY and let's go to some other of the indexes here and talk about it. Okay? What's the VIX doing, guys? Is the VIX showing any fear through this last week whatsoever? We're going to come to Apple and Google and Fang, guys. Just we'll go through charts and stuff. Just bear with me here. Okay? Fearless, right? No fear. None. I talked to you guys about levels. I said 24 was your first big level, and I told you guys 16 was your next big level. We smashed them both. We're done. We're under them. Right through them. No fear. Okay? The Qs. Above the 200-day and the 8-day, finally. Broke through it. Held it. Right? Doesn't look bad. Do the Qs look like they're about to fall apart? No. The IWM. What's it doing, guys? All right? IWM led us out of this hole. Led us up. After a couple leading us down, it's holding in, right? It's fighting the 200-day, and that's being a resistance spot. I agree. But it's not falling apart as it runs into it, right? It's hanging in okay. So this is when you're a trader, guys, you have to kind of take all this into account. You have to look around, you have to take things in. And then you have to look at the oscillators. Now, the oscillators became this very, very tough trade this year. What happened with the oscillators? That made it very difficult. That was scary for most of January into February. Right? This is neutral. This is extremely overheated. This is extremely oversold. We got hot and wouldn't come down for a long time on these, right? This is very unusual. This was the highest reading we ever had, by the way, in 20 years of history on this. Okay? So we stayed very hot for a very long time. The oscillators are very heated. What are they doing here? Can you see this? No, nope. Forget this extreme to here, right? We changed character. We went from bearish, like staying embedded bearish, to the bullish. See how we're going negative here on very little selling? You see what I'm saying here? We're negative 27 now. Can you guys see this? Okay. This is good to me because it's creating room to the upside when the markets aren't selling off. Does that make sense? Right? Last year, when we were last year, when we were stuck in here, right? It was a different story. Every time the market bounced, right? It just created room to sell off more. Does that make sense? This was the opposite in here. Do you follow me what I'm saying here? Through here, we had to deal with that until we got that final flush that finally led to a bottom. So, in my opinion, this is good action. This is all okay. There's nothing wrong with this. Now, it depends what kind of trader you are, how you trade this market. And what I'm going to tell you is, in this market, there has been things to do every day this week. Option flow has been very helpful in figuring it out, volume, and just looking at things and looking at stocks to reward. There are some stocks that are completely out of play right now. Okay? So, if you guys are trying to trade FANG stocks, you're probably not having a good time, are you? No. Right? Why not? Well, Exhibit A, Netflix. What's this thing doing? It's going red, green, chopping everybody around, right? All it's doing is decaying options and burning premium. Doesn't matter if you're in weeklies, monthlies, or 2 months out. You're not happy in anything in this right now, are you? You're not happy in calls. You're probably not happy in puts. Probably nothing here other than intraday scalps are working good on this, right? Make sense? Right? ATR is coming down. Yep, volatility is coming out of the market real quickly, Sean, right? You can see that. That's why I have that here. Amazon, same thing. Going sideways. ATR, volatility dropping, getting very, very tight and narrow, but no big movements. Facebook, what's it doing? Heck of a lot of nothing, right? Heck of a lot of nothing. How about Apple? Apple has been stuck in a very tight range now for a month. Look at this. Look at how tight these Bollinger Bands are. Look at a chart on Apple. How often? When have you seen a Bollinger Band this tight, guys? Back here, maybe in the last year, right? So what happens when you start getting tight contraction in a Bollinger Band? What do you start looking for? Right, ready to explode. But what don't we know? By the way, Sean, really appreciate you guys hanging with me, guys, tonight. React. Coiling, up or down. Right, JD, we don't know up or down, right? We don't know the direction, right? All we know is that the move, it's getting tight and getting ready for a move, right? And we're seeing this in a lot of stocks. But if you're trying to trade FANG right now, you're probably pulling your hair out, right? You're probably about ready to, you're commit, Harry Carey, you've had enough, you can't take it anymore. So you got to look for where they're trading. Who's traded Microsoft in the last 2 weeks? Why not? Don't matter the ATR. It's moving. It's doing nice. Big call buying on a daily basis. And, oh, wait, sorry. Excuse me. Let me show you something here. Here was the most impressive thing about this. On this day, right here, let me get my highlighter out and I'll blow it up for you in a minute. I want you to see this. See this nice big green day right here? When the markets were coming in on that same day, they were buying Microsoft while the markets were going down all day long. Call buying all through here. More today into weeklies and into tomorrow's expiration. Right? What I do for people in my service every day, we're calling out flow. What looks good, what doesn't, what the top flow is of the day. Today was not a great day for flow, right? Ideas and things. So always trying to put people out. Microsoft, every day they've been coming into it. People aren't trading it. I know they're not trading it. I know some of us are, but they're like, Microsoft's boring. Microsoft can't move. How about Roku? Who's been trading Roku? Yes, right? Why are you trading Roku? Right? Down here, Roku, game changer. Take a 1-year chart on this. Here, all right? Forget this. Let's take this, make it nice and narrow so we can talk about this because we don't really care too far about. Nice big, came down with the markets, put a low in at 26. Everybody's like, it's game over. Anybody remember what happened right here on this day? Do you guys remember what happened here? At CES, no buyout. Nope. At CES, no raising prices, Don. At CES, they raised guidance. They did a presentation and they guided up. Explosive candle. Gap and go, right? Anybody know why I came back in the next day? By the way, I live on Roku. So I'm a user of their products. I don't have any cable in my house anymore. Anybody know why I came in the next day that badly? Citron. And he wasn't even shorted. He just put out a nasty note and said something. I find it great. I really do, Sean. If you want, hit me up on direct message on Twitter. I'll tell you all about it. And what's good, and I'll also tell you what's not so good, and whether you can live with it or not. If you want to have a conversation, let me know. Be happy to do that. But again, came down, consolidated, held the 8-day, popped up. Everybody, they can't beat on earnings. They can't beat on earnings. Well, they guided up here. They beat their guided up, and they guided up again. Yep, Citron loves to do that. Now here we are at resistance today, right? We're in its area. But, where could it go? I don't know. Can keep going. It can go all-time highs. There's nothing here to stop this. This name's been incredible, right? They've been rewarding the names that have had good earnings. What's another name that's been strong? Like Roku. Chris, where are you? Say it. Come on. I know you want to say it. You've been in and out of this thing nonstop. We'll come to Square. We'll come to pot names. How about Boeing? I'm trying to steer you guys in some different areas instead of just constantly fang, fang, fang. Boeing. Again, another name, guys. Right? Incredibly awesome. Moving up. Why did it gap up here? Anybody remember? Right, James. Orders. Orders, orders, orders. You got it, right? Huge backlog of orders. Backlog in the airline industry is good. Not earnings, Suresh. This was orders. I'm sorry. Oh, no, you're right. That was earnings here. Orders was back here. Orders was started going. My bad. You're right. I'm wrong. Orders were good, then huge earnings beat, and now it's just been extending. New all-time high. Point raised to 500 today at Morgan Stanley. Now, is it easy to chase up here into the top of the Bollinger Band? No. Might do a little bit of this here, right, where it pulls back and consolidates. Right? And civilian, right? There's another one. Chris, you got another winner there, right? What's another name? Here, you just said it. Another name that's been incredibly good, rewarded for earnings. X-Link. The semis have not been great. X-Link's been great. Right? Look at this move off earnings. Up, up, and up. Every touch of the 8-day you could have bought if you wanted to play with this. Right? Look at the blue line. Has it failed to hold the 8-day yet through this stretch? Yep, a lot of people saying, great buy, the next NVIDIA. You guys keep bringing up Square. Square was not an easy trade, guys, today. Square has a history, by the way, of doing this. They beat and they guide down for the next quarter and get hit, and then they come back. But they came after Square today. Square's been strong off the bottom of the lows. I love this stock. I think this stock long-term here is a fabulous company. I think they're a disruptor. I think eventually somebody takes them out. Okay? Bottom line. This will be in play now for a bit, as long as the market's hold up. Repeat after me, as long as the market's hold up. Yep, somebody's going to buy them out. How about PayPal? New all-time high. Okay, today, nice and strong. Again, Apple didn't do anything, right? We had no strength in Facebook, no strength in Netflix, none of those names. The semis are weak for the most part, guys. Right? AMD is not looking bad. I still like the chart overall, but it's not leading right now, right? I made money long on Micron today, but it was just scalp trade. It wasn't sitting in it. Again, charts off the lows, but not looking fabulous here, right? Google, pick your name, right? Yep, this thing still can't get above the 200-day. Still stuck under it. How about Chipotle? Are they rewarding another game that had good earnings? Top of the range here on breakout alert, right? Consolidated after that big 3-day move. Looks good. Holding the 8-day, right? Do you guys get the theme I'm going with here? I'm trying to give you guys here is it's hard to get bearish on a market when there's still lots of money to be made long, and I'm trying to kind of beat that into you guys a little bit tonight. How about this one? I know some of my guys in my service play this thing nonstop. Lilly, has this thing showed any signs of slowing down? When the market sold off, did this thing dip much? Look at these moves. So there will be a time to get very bearish in this market, guys. And it comes. So, let me go back here. On a typical year, we usually get a couple of 3 to 5% corrections a year, right? Pullbacks, not corrections, pullbacks. Could we get one here? Of course we could, right? We sure could get one up here. No reason why we couldn't. And you know what? It might refresh the setups. Earnings are over, right? But what's going to lead us? How about this? Who follows HYG and corporate bonds? Right, Sean? This was leading us down. Is this showing any signs of selling off up here? Yeah. I mean, again, I'm all right. There's nothing here going on. How about how about the different sectors? How about the fins? They're holding in. They let us up, right? The fins were one of the things that helped break us out and get us moving in the markets, right? When the markets on earnings, right? You guys remember Citigroup first off, right? They had that huge earnings report, and then most of them, the big banks followed with good earnings reports, and we got traction off of that. They're kind of stuck here. Can't get through the 200-day yet, but they're not falling apart. Now, energy's lagging, right? Why is energy lagging? I really don't understand TOS. Sometimes it just loses the cursor. Why is energy lagging, guys? Right, oil. And why is oil? What is the biggest problem facing oil right now? Other than El Presidente tweeting about how he doesn't like high prices and sends it down. Too much supply. Strong US dollar, too much supply, right? And it really comes to China. China is the number one consumer of oil in the world, and their economy is slowing down, right? So the more their economy slows, the more pressure it puts on crude, right? Okay. So that's why we're having problems here. What kind of pattern do you guys see here? Not fib. You got a V. Inverse head and shoulders for the win. Thank you, Christopher and Treaton. Right? And JD, and then there you go, Bacone, right? You got an inverse head and shoulder here with a neckline up in this area. And, if it ever gets through there, this thing could take off, right? It's sitting there. It's going against it. It's waiting. It's biding its time. I continue to keep an eye on oil. I don't know when it's going to go, but I would like to catch it when it goes. Right? Biotech has been tough. No doubt about it, right? Lots of talk about drug pricing. But look what biotech did. After sitting here forever, banging against the 200-day, what did it do? Very quietly on this day. Last week, Monday. Yep. It gapped up above the 200-day and is breaking out above another head, right? Trying to break out. Right? UNH. So markets don't have to sell off. What can markets do to stay afloat? What do? They do what? Consolidate, but they consolidate also by doing what? They rotate. They rotate names and sectors on a change leader. They rotate, and they rotate rapidly until they run out of names to rotate to, or they can move forward and they burn off the condition. And I kind of feel like that's what's going on here. And so I thought I would share some of this with you guys because I feel like a lot of people out there are lost. Now, this is where I tell you it's not a time to have a lot of risk on, right? If you have long-term investments, you don't care. Explain rotation. Rotation is they come into the markets and they do what they did today. So let me pull this up here. So you look at the SPY chart today on a daily basis. Great question, right? And you say, hey, that was pretty good volume today. We did 69 million shares, right? More than the last couple of days. Highest volume day of the week, basically, right? You see that? But it really was kind of an enigma because when you look at this on a 5-minute chart today, I put a tweet out there at one point. I think with 90 minutes to go, we were 29 million shares traded. Volume was anemic. Look at the volume in here. This was all algos chasing, getting you to chase and stuff. So what happens here at the end of the day, they came screaming in and they made some moves. Rotation is instead of dumping the markets to burn off the oversold, they look for either names or sectors to go play with, and they change them on a daily or every couple of day basis, Sean. So if you look at the IBB, right? We were just talking about this. We had a big day yesterday in biotech, but not today, right? You got that move, and then you got a inside day here, right? They weren't there today, right? They go find different areas to play with, right? They're not playing with the semis right now, except for a couple names, but they could, right? You look for them to go into a name and say, or a sector and say, I want to play with it. Today was really about a couple of names. They stayed very close with those names, but they can rotate in and out of these very, very quickly. You guys brought up the pot stocks. I made nice money on pot stocks early this week. I'm not invested in it anymore. I sold all my pot stocks, but I trade them. And, sometimes you just have to be looking for it. Right? On this day, right? That was on Tuesday. Look at Cron, that candle, right? That was a rotation day. They were looking to find it. How do you find those names? So what happens with me, guys, is every morning I do a video for my subscribers, and then I go live at 9 o'clock, and we talk about setups, and I'm already looking around. Sometimes it's based upon news. Sometimes it's based upon option flow the day before. Sometimes it's based upon technical setups, and other times it's just based upon my little gut instinct. Does that make sense? But you're looking for volume. And when you see volume come in, that's usually a sign that something's in play, and you can get in on it. So you're looking on an intraday chart for volume. And it wasn't just Cron that day, right? You could have played CGC on that day, right? ACB, right? You can see they all kind of found their way that day, right? Makes sense? And you can see they're in play. And you can look at that and say, okay, this is a day to be playing these names. So, that's what you're really looking for when it comes to this. So this is kind of what we have going on right now. You're seeing a lot of different rotation into names quickly. And then I think the best thing you guys can do is learn to understand the pattern that's going on here and be cognizant and aware and careful with it. And this is a 5-day, 5-minute chart of Netflix, okay? What is the one pattern you see here repeating over and over again this week? Pop and drops, right? Pop and drops. You got to be so careful right now with these names, right? Buying strength. Exploded higher, down all day. This gave you a dip to buy. That was better if you wanted to do a quick scalp. But again, popped in the first 30 minutes, went sideways, closed okay. Yesterday, popped it on the first couple minutes. A lot of people chased that. I could see them. I know them. I know some of the people that chased that. Then yanked it out from underneath you. Today, same thing. Popped it and yanked it. You got to learn to be cognizant of these patterns when they develop and be more careful. Right? Got to be more careful on these. Look at the volume on the first 5 minutes. Look for something that stands out more. Now, they got a lot of people on this day. Don't kid yourself. That volume right there, that suckered in a bunch of people, right? Does that make sense? And why did that sucker people in? What made this day special on Monday morning? It's tradable, James, if you're quick. You can't sit in it. You gotta be disciplined. You have to have stops. You gotta take profits. Make sense? I do it all the time. You gotta take your profits. Well, it depends on who you are, Sean. It depends on who you are. It depends what kind of trader you are. But remember, this was the Monday morning. You had a gap up. Everybody saw this gap up. Good Grammys, and they said it's gonna go, and they pulled the rug out from underneath everybody and shot it down. Yep. So there's resistance out here, and what I do every day is I try to go in, and I do is try to find resistance and put it on my charts for intraday trading. I find places I want to buy and places that can be resistance. So sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. I did not trade well today. I already told you guys that. I had a small losing day thanks to two bad trades. I also tried, Square. So, again, to give you an example, for me, I got in on common after this candle here, and I put my stop in place, and I left it, and of course they came down, they took me out flat. I made a buck. Pissed off. Got back in here, made some money, decided to take the trade off because I'd had two losing trades in a row and to put some money in my pocket, and then it took off. But there was a calculated trade here, right? When it took out the high of the day, isn't there a calculated trade there today on Square? Can you guys see that here? Right? Can you not see here? This was a calculated trade at that point when it took that out. You had a big gap up to fill, but it was showing strength right at that point, and it showed it. And I pointed this out later, and I did not trade well today. Not not I like to be transparent with you guys, but you see the blue line? That's the AEMA and the 5-minute chart. What do you notice about that today? Trend. It didn't break it to all the way up here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Can you guys see that? That means you could have bought it. Yeah, strong. ATR never violated. All the way up to the end of the day. Didn't take out the ATR until like what? 30 minutes to go in the day? Just a strong day. Yep, just strong day. My bad. I screwed up. That's on me. That's not on anybody else. That's on me. It was a good trade. I made money on it. I didn't make nearly what I should have made on it today. But you look for stuff today. So, guys, the bottom line is the markets are not an easy place right now. It's choppy, it's whippy, it's filled with algos that are vying around, but there's names to trade and there's things to do. And you need to expand your horizons and look around. I made money on NBEV today. How about NEO? NEO was another name this week that gave a beautiful trade if you guys were looking for it, right? And again, go back to Friday. We knew they were going to be featured on 60 Minutes on Sunday. I made some money on it on Friday afternoon. Okay, I didn't play it. Big gap up, and it even gave you a dip, but there was an entrance. I know some people who caught it. I wasn't paying attention to it at that moment. I was in EA. I was playing with that. EA, when it dipped and it took back out the high of the day, that is your signal to try what? You could try to go long versus that. Does that make sense? Look at that spot. And it had what? What else did it have on that day? What did we have? Tremendous amounts going into NEO Friday late afternoon and all morning on Monday. Volume and call buying out the wazoo, guys. All over the place. All over it. Sweeps left, right, and center. Momentum sweepers all over the place. Gave a trade. That's all you're looking for, right? So again, there's trades to be had out here. Now, would I be trading NEO here right now ahead of earnings next week? No. Not unless I get something. Got a golden cross on MACD. Somebody brought up BABA earlier. Let's talk about BABA, right? BABA. I've been talking to you guys about BABA for months. Went ahead of our target. We said the 200-day. Nicely over it here. Flagging on a daily chart. Nice looking chart, isn't it? Now it's hot. Very hot. RSI is screaming hot. I think RSI is, where is it at? RSI is down to 73 today. They actually cooled it off a bit finally. It was up around 77. Okay? But beautiful chart, right? Play the pattern. The pattern has been every day. If you look at this thing on a 5-minute chart, it dips on the open and they buy it back. It dips and then they buy it back. It dips and then they buy it back. Try to buy it on weakness. Right? So is this helping you guys a little bit? Again, I'm trying to show you there's tons of strength in this market still. There's tons of things acting well. Very little. There's nothing, nothing's really kind of falling apart out there. It's really just the names you guys like to play aren't in play. And if you're going to focus on Fang, you need to look elsewhere when Fang's out of play and find that. And it's there. It's really there. It's out there. You just have to broaden your horizons and just look a little wider and change your focus. Will the Fed raise rates this year? What's my magic 8 ball say? Check back later. I don't know. If I had a bet, if the economy stays strong, they'll raise at least once. They'll raise once. But, I mean, the Fed's in check right now. The Fed delivered. You can say anything you want to say about the Fed. They delivered last month. And they've reinforced that mostly, except for the hawks, the hawks out there. So, you don't have to worry about it. I'm not worried about the Fed here. Yeah. Yep, all clouds have silver linings. So, here we are. What's going on here? Why do we have such a high print here on the... Yep. Again, guys, here we are. Closed week. Now, we got a long way to go to the open. No, that was somebody else said something. I can't repeat it. Long way to go to the open, but look at the ES already. ES already is already back to the high of the day and the top of this little 3-day range here. And I guess the only thing I can say to you guys is, right now, nope, cannot. Sorry. Thank you, though. It wasn't you, Sean. Can't say it. But appreciate it. So, play the action. Right now, 280's resistance. When you look at the markets, if we're close to 280, think before you take positions or big positions. Make sense? If there's weakness on the opens, they've been buying weakness, they've been selling strength. Stay with it until it changes. Look for trades. Look for things to do. Look for names that are acting stronger. Look for names that are acting stronger and give a small pullback to the 8-day like XLNX did the last couple days. Yep, wait for it. Don't have to chase everything here. And eventually Fang will be back in play and will be much rejoicing. But if you can expand your mind, your portfolio, it won't really matter. So, thank you guys all for joining me today. I've really enjoyed having you guys here. I hope you like this format. I don't do it very often. I do it maybe once a quarter or so. But I figure there's not a lot of times somebody will sit down and just talk to you guys like this and go over it with you. It's something I do once a week with my subscribers, and I thought maybe you guys would appreciate this as well. Enjoy your weekend. Remember, tomorrow's Friday, okay? Friday's always a little bit more, choppy. Don't give things back. I'll give you a link, Sean. I'm not here to advertise my service today, though, as much as I appreciate it and I love it. I'm here just to work with you guys today and just give you things. If you want, I'm at smartoptiontrading.com. Come over and find me and join me. Sean, I'll send you a specific link. Thank you. I really don't try to sell you guys. For you guys that want it, I'm happy to send it to you. Thank you very much. But I'm here tonight really just to help you guys out. Ken, my source of news is I follow the option flow and call that out. And I have a couple news services up and running all the time. And that's giving me information, real time. and I called out, and I spend 3 hours a day or so live with my subscribers, and then I'm not. I take some breaks in between and do what I need to do. But I pay for option flow, and I have it tweaked to where I like it and to where I know what I'm looking for, and to stuff that I think is playable. How about Tesla today? Okay, let's do one last thing, and then I'm gonna go because I really got to get off my throat here. It's starting to hurt. Tesla here, guys, to me is, I will tell you, I don't know how to trade Tesla very well anymore, and I used to trade Tesla great. The news was horrible. So that big event tonight was they're finally coming out with the $35,000 Model 3. Musk said they're not going to be profitable in the first quarter. They're not going to have a profitable first quarter, and there's no longer going to be showrooms. You have to buy cars online. No more dealerships. The only way they're going to sell you is cars online. Yeah, Robert. What something? Yeah, one of those. Yep. So, stock speed up here. Now, here's what I say to you guys about Tesla, and then it's my final thought. When this name looks bad, no more test drive, Sean. Just buy it. Because Elon said so. Just buy it. Buy the damn thing. Elon said it's good. You should buy it. Just buy it. When this thing looks bad, you cannot buy it. You cannot short it. Okay. I sold everybody in my service on Monday. I said you can't short this thing when the SEC came after it. Now, do I think it should go lower? I think he should shut up. I think he should shut up and stop. But you can't short this thing when it's down. You also have to be careful when it's way up. It tends to go the opposite way of how the chart looks. All right, guys. Have a great night. Thanks for joining me. Get some rest. The marks will be here tomorrow. And, we'll figure it out from there. So, nice and easy. Risk down. Not a ton of risk on, but keep playing. I'll see you guys on my service tomorrow morning early, and the rest of you anytime. Hope to have you. Thanks, guys.